Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Study Hall. This is episode 1.
So, last episode actually got quite a bit of, views, or
I guess
quite
you
a
can
good
say-
response in general. I think it got, especially all of our friends saw it, and I think a lot of people from online saw it too.
And we got some good feedback.
We got some good feedback on
So
what
we
as
try
well.
to implement that. Let's hope it goes well.
Let's hope that goes well. So today, I think we wanted to go over, of course, a couple of things. We will start with, I think, kind of like school and like CS, and then we'll kind of work our way down to like video games and other tech stuff.
And in between, we might weave in some real life things.
Yeah.
Overall, just kind of a yapping session.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much just a yap session for the next 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Or so. So first of all, I know that you've been, yesterday you were talking about your 50 question AP classroom homework.
Not even 50. So, yeah, I'm in AP Comp Sci
Ah.
and that homework, it's insane. We are given, I think last homework assignment was like 150 questions MCQ, like 20 questions FRQ, all do it in like 2 days. And honestly, okay, and this is my opinion of the AP class. I think it's kind of useless because at least the way they teach it. I don't know. You've taken it, right? And the
I have,
homework,
I have.
yeah.
But I, in my experience, I think in general, it kind of depends where you take the AP class. I took APCS online. I got a 5 on the test. But I think that's because, I had experience in programming before that. And I knew what I was...
I have the experience as well, but so APCSI, for those of you who don't know, they teach a language called Java, which I'm actually pretty good at, and I have a lot of experience with. But the issue with it is the way they teach it. At least in my opinion, the way they teach it is kind of weird because the concepts they teach I have not used. For example, I make Minecraft plugins with it. I would do backend work during competitions we'd attend, and they teach you how to solve puzzles, but not implement the stuff. So I don't know if you've seen that with your classes.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I took the test. I took the course. I think that a lot of the test is just conceptual, using a bunch of these concepts, right? Because they don't go into actual projects and stuff. They kind of go into building very small in very small cases, right? Like the FRQs, for example, they're all based on
they're based on user input in the console, which is
well, not necessarily. It's based on of course that's the easiest way you can get user input. There's a lot of other ways. If you've taken APCSP, you can get you have a project that you have to submit. That project you can do all sorts of user input, file uploads, website.
We haven't learned file uploads actually yet. The only terms of input we've actually
You haven't
learned.
done because Java doesn't. Okay, we'll go into this in a second, but we'll talk about some opinions on programming languages themselves. Java is not the best for website development, and app development in terms of GUI apps. I think it's more for. Actually, I've seen some GUI apps from it, but it's just not the best.
There's Java Swing.
Yeah, of course. There's always a lot of libraries for it, but I think it's not the best for GUI apps. Today.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
I was taking a course from this online tutoring program my mom signed me up for Java, and the guy was trying to teach me app development and making Windows GUI, but it's the Windows 7 GUI. All the GUI is still really old.
Yeah.
And it looks bad. And
I
also do some web development, and that just pains me.
Yeah, of course. But I think, of course, going back to CSA for a second here, I think that the way that they teach CSA, especially in our school, is just not not good.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to do a bunch of drill problems all day.
That's
not how you teach programming.
And that's the main issue that I have with the class, is that it's all drilling it into your brain, which is, at least for someone like me, that does not work.
Yeah. I mean, so for example, of course after CSA, I took CSA already out of school. But they let me go into the next class above CSA, which is called CSB. It's a data science class, or data structures class. We do a bunch of data structure stuff. Of course, that class is not an AP class. It is just a.
It's a regular class, but it's brand new
honors class. Yeah.
But it's brand new in our.
It's brand new in our school. And so in that class, we do a lot more project-based learning. A majority of our assignments are projects. So we'll build games like tic-tac-toe and like put the concepts that we have learned in legitimate use. I mean, like what? For example, for like linked list, we made like a song playing thing. I know one of our friends, canonically named Seb, let's call him Seb for this video. He built a whole he built it to actually work and actually play music.
Did he use some of our old projects?
No. It was of course it was all built in Java, so It was with circular linked list. But it was like it would play music when you would actually there, because it was just supposed to be an example of how to make like a queue, like a song queue type project. But yeah. But he actually made it work, like an actual song queue. Of course, the one that I made was just an example, like a console thing. Like you can be like, oh, next song. You know.
Honestly, with like classes like that, at least with our workload with other AP classes as well, I have the mindset of if I can do the minimum that's required and I have enough time to do the other works, then I'm gonna do that because.
Yeah.
So our school, they don't allow us to take AP classes freshman year, and there's like 2 that you can take in sophomore year. So I'm taking like 4 APs. Not 4. Yeah, 3 APs this year and 4 APs next year. I would be taking much more, but like I can't. So like I'm stacked up this year, and then all the workload is like that.
Yeah, and I think you know what our just going off like a little bit of our parents here. I think our parents are like, oh, you should put the maximum amount of effort into these, but it's like sometimes it's just like
that's not possible.
That's not possible just because of our time constraints.
Yeah.
Right. The amount of workload, like 100 CS problems. Like, dude, I'm in CSE, right, and we get like a textbook problems every so often, and they're like 10 problems, and that will take you like an hour and a half. Right? They're not like hard problems. And they're probably honestly the same length as your type of problem, because you have how many FRQs do you guys have?
We have 5 FRQs, but 2 of those. And
no, but like per problem set, because you get like those spiral problems or whatever.
So the spiral problem sets, there's 5, but each of them has a part A and a part B where you have to write a method for a class that you're given.
So is it like a bunch of FRQs? Is that?
Yeah, just a bunch of FRQs. It's like
are those spiral problems all FRQs?
So there's 100 MCQ for spiral, and there's 5 FRQs for spiral, and there's like 15 MCQ for progress check, 5 FRQ for progress check.
Yeah, so it's just like a bunch of like their MCQs, because we don't have any. I mean, of course, all of our tests in CSV are multiple choice, but their multiple choice is like
it's
different.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot different, but I feel like yours is more advanced. We're given really basic ones. Like, for example, in the recent test I took, one of the questions was literally just finding differences between 2 data types. One was an array, one's an array list.
Yeah.
Which is like why we use one over the other, which is for someone who's taken CSA is a fairly easy question to answer.
Yeah. What's the answer to that question,
Arne? Array lists can resize themselves easily.
So, what do you think about standards-based grading?
So, okay, first of all, I'll explain what that is. Our school has implemented recently, I think last year maybe, implemented a new type of grading called standards-based grading. It's basically where everything is graded on a 4-point scale, and you get on a score of 4 based on your skills and the learning targets. So each test will update the skill, not the actual test score.
Yeah.
I think I like the idea of the 4-point scale, but the implementation is kind of weird.
Yeah. The thing is, the letter grade system wasn't scaled properly.
Yeah.
Right? Because here's the thing. If you, let's say, get a proficient in Spanish, right?
Which is a 3
one
out of 4.
wrong. Which is a 3, right? Go down to a 3, which is an 11 out of 12. A 3 in the grade book is an 85%, which is like a B. But an 11 out of 12 is above a 9.
Yeah.
It should be an A. So that didn't scale properly.
It's
at all.
They penalize you for things. They penalize you too much, or they penalize you too little. And there's no like the barrier there is not enough, or it's too much actually. It's too much.
So now I want to talk about I think recently something that happened that might have gotten our grades up. Honestly, is a TikTok ban. Could have gotten our grades up. You know, it might have been the most productive 12 hours, which was the TikTok ban, which lasted
12 hours.
I'm not joking you, 12 hours.
I don't know how they managed to make it only last 12 hours. Like that's like average downtime for a website.
Yeah. Well, you should try to do it before 12 hours, but 12 hours is pretty good. I mean, even stay like he wasn't even president yet, right? He did this before he was president. Now, obviously, he created the problem in the first place by wanting to ban it. So you can take that. You can take that. And think
the
about
meme
it.
of like putting the medal on yourself.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like, yeah, you can take that. You can think about that and how you would want to think about that.
I honestly liked it though because for the first time I wasn't being surrounded by brain rot.
I mean, Instagram Reels was the next best option. You're probably just gonna start saying Instagram Reels.
But the thing is, the brain rot there is not the same as the brain rot on TikTok.
It's the same thing. Realistically, it's the same thing.
I would say it's different.
I think it's the same thing.
The audience can decide.
All right, that's true. Anyways, you know what? We talked a little bit enough about computer science and I guess a little bit of life and politics there. Let's go to video games. Me, not personally, I'm not a big gamer myself. I haven't played that many video games in the past.
Honestly, I haven't played many in recent times.
Yeah. Honestly, I wanted to start with one real quick, right? I wanted to start with one called PokeMMO. Me and Seb, as I was talking about earlier, we started playing a game called PokeMMO, which is like a multiplayer version of Pokemon. I want to just state, from a technical standpoint, that is a really hard thing to do. Because first of all, they took the game and they like edited the UI so it was more, it added more information, and they were able to hook into the game and physically turn the UI into like a more multiplayer and more, I think,
multiplayer online.
Yeah, they basically changed the whole UI to make it easier and more cool to play the game, I think. It wasn't just the basic, the 3DS UI, because it's a based on white and black, black and white, Pokemon Black and White, which you have to use the ROM for, so they had to reverse engineer that ROM. But they also did it for like a bunch of other games. They did it for Fire Red, Emerald, and they're all for different platforms. Emerald is for GBA, and then White and Red I think is for 3DS or the DS.
I honestly don't know. I haven't played Pokemon that much recently. I never got too into it.
Yeah. But we started playing that game, and it's kind of fun because it's like multiplayer. So like we grinded over like kind of like last weekend, and we try to get as many Pokemon as we can. And so yeah, if you want to check that game out, it's called PokeMMO. It's a really interesting kind of like, just an interesting.
It's a Pokemon MMO. Has it been done before? I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like that is kind of the original. I don't think that's been done before, but
that's actually a cool concept.
It's a really cool concept. I mean, just from a technical standpoint, it's really impressive. Yeah. Do you have anything you wanted to discuss?
So recently, a game, both of us actually played it a little bit, came out called Strinova, which was kind of like a Valorant game. Actually,
a Valorant-esque.
Yeah, it was really similar to Valorant, but one of the cool things about it is that the kind of feature called stringification, which is where you can go into a paper mode and become flat. And I never learned how to use it well, but I've seen videos of it. It's insane what people can do with it. For example, they would when you're getting shot at, you're running, you just stringify immediately. It makes it really hard to hit you, but it's still possible. So, at least I like to do game development sometimes as well. And from a technical standpoint, that balancing is really cool for me.
Yeah.
Because you're not invulnerable, but you're also in a state where it makes it interesting how you can play along with that.
Yeah, definitely. But I also think that in general, the game, I think that, one of the cons of the game is even though it's balanced, it's not balanced well. I think some characters are definitely stronger than others. And
Audrey, for example.
Audrey, yeah. And some characters are just a little too cracked, like Audrey, who literally has a shield on her gun.
One of her. So she has a. She has a automatic gun.
Yeah, automatic
has a shield
gun.
on it.
A shield on it.
And it's no so if she's in a specific state, no recoil and no reload.
Yeah.
Which is
kind of cracked.
Kind of cracked. Yeah.
Now I think that it would be fine if the game was maybe like this was the original game and it wasn't like another game that they were just translating over. But this was just a translated game. It was translated from the Chinese game, the Chinese Chernova game, which has already been out for a long, long time. I honestly played that one a little bit before the Chernova full release came out. It's the same game essentially, just
translated to English.
Translated to English and some different events. I think the game
different events separate. And also some of the characters not in it.
They haven't.
They've been slowly rolling out the new characters.
Yeah, because they have to get like voice acting for all of them. So yeah. So that's Chernova.
On the topic of shooters, Fortnite.
Okay, so first of all, Miku.
Hatsune Miku.
That's one of the Hatsune Miku figures that I have. It's a different figure from last time. They both are. It's Ai Hoshino, and then that one is Hatsune Miku. Hatsune Miku in Fortnite. Now look, I haven't played Fortnite since like 2020, maybe early 2020s, late 2020s, maybe somewhere around that place. I re-downloaded Fortnite and bought Hatsune Miku just for this. I only got Fortnite to play with Hatsune Miku. Now I'll be real, Hatsune Miku the model is not the best. I'll be real, it's not designed the best, but Miku.
It's Miku. They added the Miku Beam emote and
they added some emotes. But the game has changed. I mean, Fortnite itself has changed way too much.
I think that they're cluttering it too much. Like, for example, when a game gets too much added into it and it becomes not truly what it was. Like, Fortnite was meant to be a simplistic, or at least in my opinion, it was meant to be a simplistic shooter game that's like a lot of people, you can shoot them up. But or you can it's a battle royale.
Bad way to say that, but sure, yeah.
But recently with the new collabs and just like new features like sliding and climbing, the metas have changed. That makes it too complicated.
I don't think my complaint of the game was mainly its Roblox thing that happened. Like, why is the game like Roblox? Why is there so many different game modes? I played Fortnite when the 3 game modes were Battle Royale, and Battle Royale. There was nothing else. There was maybe solos, duos, and trio and squad. And that was it. Like, the UI had nothing in that.
Back in the COVID era.
Yeah, you had to go into like an island area where or like an island's code, and you had to put an island code in, and there used to be websites that had a bunch of island codes on them. But now you can just scroll down and you can find a bunch of islands.
Featured games. Like,
they're called games now. They're just like jailbreak in Fortnite now. Like, what?
I don't really like it.
I don't really like that. It became like Roblox. Like, I don't know why you're trying to copy Roblox when Roblox is doing just fine. And I feel like that is...
Okay, I've seen Roblox games that copy Fortnite. And then Fortnite is now copying Roblox.
Yeah, it's just... I don't know. It's just not... I don't know. It's not the way that I feel like Fortnite should have gone. I feel like they should have just stayed in the realm of Battle Royale.
On the topic of games, though, I want to talk about one of the indie games that I've been recently playing. It's called Novalands. My type of favorite game is factory builders and automation games. That's just my preference. I played this game Novalands, Astro Colony, Minecraft. I normally play modded create mode, and I just like this kind of aspect where you can kind of be smart about how you build together. This game I love because of its story and its aspect in automation. The entire concept is you crash land on an alien planet, and just with the resources you have in the spaceship, you can use that and the local resources to basically build up an empire. And then eventually you can meet the locals and learn about their kind of technologies. And this is actually the new feature where you learn about their technologies and more cleaner, greener, efficient technologies that eventually send you back home. So it's It's a very fun game, and I recommend that you guys try it. It's called Novalands. It's I believe like $20, but it's worth the cost.
Yeah, for me, like, I think in terms of like automation, I like to play games to relax.
Yeah.
Not to be smart. I need to get rid of my brain cells, not game them. But like I've always like kind of like the simulation category of games, simulation / like builder type game. I played City Skylines for a while.
Yeah.
I played the Microsoft Flight Simulator, which aren't like brain growth games. They're more like.
I feel like City Skylines though is also kind of an automation game.
It is, but I feel like there's less automation because the game does the automation for you.
That's true.
It's more like how efficient can you make your city in terms of like roads and stuff. And
that's
how
also,
much can you make?
That's also with Novalands actually, where like once you like at the start of the game, it's very manual, and there's a bit of a grind. But once you get to a certain stage where you get to like automation bots, they do everything for you. You just need to figure out and manage your resources and plan your city.
Yeah, so that's kind of how you would do it. That's kind of how City Skylines works from the beginning. I want to talk about one game on the topic of indie games that came out, and I think this is an indie game. I'm pretty sure it's an indie game. I have not played it that much, but if you've seen the game, you've probably seen a bunch of reels on it called MeSide. Now it's like a horror yandere horror game. I think you would define it as that. It's a horror in like quotation marks. It's not really a horror game, honestly, but
it's kind of like a funny-ish horror game.
Funny-ish horror game. It's a sweet horror game.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about this game from a little bit of an indie standpoint here. First of all, this game got so popular. It has 86,000 reviews on Steam, which first of all for any game is like crazy. For an indie game, that's insane. Like insane. Like I think Cyberpunk has like 233,000 reviews, which is not like that's a AAA title.
That's almost half of it, or
less than half, but like almost half.
Almost half, yeah.
Which is crazy, and it's like 96% recommended.
I think it was 98%.
98% positive reviews, which is wow, crazy to me. Because I'm pretty sure it's an indie title, and it's like built by a couple people. Yeah. Right. But the story is like well written. The game mechanics are well done. It's like and I think there's a bunch of small things that they added. I think what made the game really popular is the small things that they added. For example, if you bob your head up and down, I think one of the iterations of Mira, which is the main character called Cappy, she does a little bit of a head nod like this, right? When you do a head nod. For example, in that type of things got really, really popular because people shared that content and people were like, "Oh, this is such a cool aspect of the game." Where you can like interact with the character in ways that I don't think a lot of kind of yandere or type of visual novels. I'm using visual novels as a very loose term here, but visual novel type games have used.
That reminds me of another game. I don't remember its name actually because I've only seen it in videos.
Yandere Simulator?
No, it's
literally Yandere Simulator.
It's a different game. It's like a magic-ish game. We have to mix potions, but I've seen a lot of content on it.
Wait, didn't you used to play that game?
No, not Alchemist Simulator. It's a different game, but the entire concept, it's a VR game actually.
Oh.
And one of the things is there's a skull, and the skull can talk back to you, depending on what you're doing. But I have no clue how it's made, but it's made so well because like whatever you do to it, it'll talk. It's like I feel like it has to do something with AI at least because of the like it's such a wide variety of what it can do and talk to you. No matter what you do to it, like if you poke its eye, it'll say ow, and it'll kind of act like a normal human being, and it'll be very responsive no matter what you do.
Yeah, honestly, I mean it could be AI, but it could also be like just a bunch of programming, hard coding.
That is true.
I mean, a lot of like visual novel games like built with like things like Ren'Py are literally just hard coded stories like if statements, like 100,000 line if statements, which is honestly kind of complicated in and of itself because of how long that story is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we talked about those games. Those are our video game recommendations you can check out. The games we talked about were PokeMMO, MeSide, Fortnite, obviously, but that's really popular. Stranova, which honestly, to us, Stranova has kind of...
It's kind of died down, especially with its popularity and its kind of... its pull. It has no more attraction, at least for me, because after a while, it got kind of boring.
Yeah. And then of course,
Novalands.
Novalands. Yeah.
But I think that's about it for today's episode. We'll catch you in the next one. But yeah.
All right.
Thank you for watching and see you.